So I know we're talking about this after the fact, well after the fact, but I think sort of the positivity and the energy about Brave the Default was so high that I really wanted to get you guys in to talk about it, because like I haven't seen this office so excited about a JRPG in like forever, and that's really cool to see. What is it about Brave the Default, do you think, that has people so turned on? Not in a sexual way.
Yeah, no, you can't be.
Well,
It's
Dia's pretty
impossible 'cause
hot.
they're
I'm
so
just going to
short.
put it out there. You know, it's just like...
DS is hot right now.
You know, like the wind vest, I'm not going to go there. You know, like she's got a whole thing going on. If she's got her outfit, it's a sexy outfit that she's got to wear to bring the crystals back. But a Dia, I mean, she's sassy. You know, it's like I'm totally in. I think it's really accessible. I just, like, when I played the demo, the one thing I was telling Ben was that, like, every time I was like, oh, like an echo herb, like, I know what that does. Or, like, you know, like the items and the way everything that, like, you know, like ninjas are good with, you know, daggers, like, big surprise.
When you say accessible, I think that's interesting, because I think you're right. Because it uses a very familiar language, but I don't think that translates to easy. It's hard going back to other JRPGs that don't let you play the way you want to play them, and how big of a deal that is. I think.
And that's what I mean about accessible. Not that you're saying it's not easy. You know, there's definitely battles. I like that a lot of the side quests are harder than the main quests. Mm-hmm. So a little blue flag would go up, and I'd be like, oh, I'll take that job, and then just like, good night. You know, like get back to the main story. But it gives you the freedom to, if you want a power level, you can do it. If you want to level up that class to make that you know, fight a little bit easier, you can do that. You can put in the time. It doesn't make the whole experience easier. You still have to invest more energy to get to where you want to go.
And I think there's one like crippling flaw that some people have tried to defend in interesting ways, but I think is just straight up bad. There's a point in the game where you get to what seems like the ending, and this is obviously a spoiler.
I know, yeah, so, I've read about this.
Yeah, so you get all the crystals restored, and you go to the white light, and it turns out you just reset time, like you just go back, and you're like, wait, what happened? This doesn't make any sense. Let's just do the same thing that we did again. So you go, you restore the crystals again, you go and time resets again. And it resets 4 times.
But how many hours did you get out of it the first time through before you hit that time loop?
So I was at 20 hours when I got to the natural ending, and I would have been so happy if that was it. You
I'm at 20 hours now.
Yeah.
And I still have to get the Earth Crystal.
Like 20 hours, that's a good point. Like, you should be done with the game at 20 hours, you know what I mean?
I feel like there's this expectation that JRPGs need to be 40 to 50 hours, and I think that's bullshit.
Oh, see, I don't know. Like,
I like this.
I guess I've been raised with that. Like, that's ingrained since Super Nintendo, you know? It's just like, I need all of this time.
But what about this? I'm not opposed to a game feeling 40 or 50 hours, but I see no reason to force it to be that.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Whatever the scope of your game is, let it be that scope and be okay with it. You know, if that's 20 hours, fine. If that's 5, like, Crimson Shroud is one of the best JRPGs I've played in the last few years. It's 5 hours long, but it feels complete, right?
But it's also priced at that.
That's true.
Yeah.
So how does that factor in for you? So are you saying if you pay $60 for a game, a JRPG, do you expect a certain length?
Yeah, like I really do. Like for me, it's just been ingrained. Like that's just the way it is for me. Like I expect a certain amount of time. I don't want to pay $60 and get like a 10-hour RPG because I feel how much story can I get out of a 10-hour RPG?
Right.
Like I can't. There's no way they can flesh out the story this much if you're doing that, because you still have to go through all the dungeons. You still have to do everything. So for me, it feels like you need that 40 hours to flesh out all the characters, to flesh out the world around you, to flesh out the story. So did both of you replay it through the 4 extra times and get the good ending, or did you?
I got the good ending.
Really? 'Cause I heard you talking like the other week. You're like, I hate it. I can't.
I don't know why I do these things. I don't know why I do these things, but I just needed that good ending, so I just really plowed through it. I put in my 55 hours.
Were you enjoying it at that point, or?
Here's the thing: Bravely Default happened during the Olympics, and it's a super good Olympics game because it can autoplay a lot. You know what I mean? You can basically just program how you want everyone to react in battles and then have it on auto battle. And so 55 hours of that game is different from 55 hours of like, you know, this intense me having my face on the screen.
You talking about playing it while you're watching the Olympics, something that our Michael Huber, one reason that he's not playing Brave the Default is he doesn't like the idea of a lengthy adventure on a handheld. Yeah. And I really disagree with that, but I wanted to get your guys' thoughts. I actually prefer playing JRPGs on a handheld because I feel like their form really suits it. Like you were saying, I can do other things. I can watch something on the internet, I can watch TV, I can sleep on my bed, whatever I want to do, but I'm still making progress, you know.
And you add in the freedom of like being able to decide like, okay, I'm gonna hit this dungeon now, or no, I'm just gonna grind now.
I can just, you can be
so
like,
you know what you have to do.
I can just stop now. I can just close it, leave it in its state.
And
you're still making
area will
progress.
pop up on the bottom
Exactly,
screen
yeah.
and tell you exactly where you need to go and what you need to do.
But, you know, on the flip side of that, I think that I might be a little doom and gloom here, but I think the days of turn-based role-playing games on platforms like the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One may pretty much be gone. You know, you're going to get things like Final Fantasy 15, which is awesome, but those aren't the same thing. How do you guys feel about that? Would you ever want a game like Bravely Default on a console?
I would love if Square Enix would release like a retro RPG on like Xbox One, PS4, just an old school, like, you know, Final Fantasy VI style RPG, all new, not like a remake or anything. I think it would sell really well.
Are you talking like sprite-based graphics? Are you talking like...
I would love sprite-based graphics, yeah.
Okay.
Like, I mean, it doesn't have to be, but I think it would do, if you do that on like Xbox Live Arcade, you know, like put out a $15 RPG, like sprite-based, I think it would do so well. And I think they're missing out on that.
I don't think that's gonna happen.
I don't think they ever will. I think it would be amazing if they did.
Though, I mean, South Park is here right now.
Right.
That is a turn-based RPG. I feel like it can happen. You just need a unique twist. You need something that's like, oh, this is still something modern, you know?
I was a little scared when the game was first announced and it had the fairy like subtitle to the name of the game, and I was like, that worries me. Like,
best subtitle of all time.
I know, but then they struck it off like official listings. It was just Bravely Default, and I was like, that's good.
Yeah.
Because you're not going to scare away people. They're like, I don't know.
In my review, there were a lot of comments that said, I would check this out, but that name sounds stupid.
Do you imagine it would have sold even more if they gave it the name Final Fantasy?
Yeah.
Oh,
unfortunately,
absolutely.
I do think that.
But it wouldn't have been as good. I can almost tell you that it would have been less of a game if it had Final Fantasy.
Really?
Yeah, I think so.
I mean, it's got all the item names, same item names. It's got the job classes. It has crystals.
It did feel weird not to get dun, 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 dun. At the end. I was waiting for it every time.
It sounds like such a small thing, but I think it's a better game because it doesn't have Moogles and Chocobos and Sid in it. Not that I don't love those things. I am as attached to those things as everyone else. But when I was playing Lightning Returns, I'm just like, this shit is here just to be here.
Yeah.
Like, Final Fantasy has accumulated so much fat at this point. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
That there's almost no room for anything else.
You have to hit these points. You have to include
Right.
these.
Well, we
words.
have to put a cactar in here somewhere.
You know, like I really feel strongly about that. Where Bravely Default was saved that curse, right?
true.
It could just fun be like, no, guys,
Classic
we really
and
don't
new
need
at
a
the same
dancing
time.
cactus in this.
And honestly, I think the series will keep going. And I think it would have sold better if it were Final Fantasy, but you got to like start planting seeds eventually to like make new.
But
new
the
branches and
response of
things
it was
that.
like kind of surprising.
We did it. We bought a lot of that game. Yeah.
Right, like think about how much people had to struggle to bring it over here, and then sort of like the nonchalant attitude from Nintendo. Like no one had any expectation that anybody would give a shit about that game.
Yeah.
And I think that proves another thing, that game publishers have no idea what we want.
So, Bravely Default. See what I did there? No. 3, 4.
With that done, let's get you on your way.